gathering in the capital.
Global Affairs Analyst Paul Ejime joins me to discuss the results from the first round of parliamentary polls in France, among other developments. Mr. Ejime, thank you for joining us on The World Now.
Thank you, Mufemi. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you too. It's perhaps the first time the far right is winning the first round of a French parliamentary election, with Mr. President's party coming third. What is this historic feat saying about French politics?
So, it is not just French politics. I think Europeans appear to be waking up. If you remember also that in Germany recently, it was almost the same thing with the far right putting up a very, historic performance. What they are saying to the, center or left of center politics is that there is need for a change, and that they are not delivering on, the good governance. It is about government, it's about the people, and that is the message. And then once they are not, you are not living up to, maybe some of them make promises that they do not live up to, and the well-being, the condition of the citizens are not, and there is no improvement. So they need to, and that is where they hold leaders to account, because at every election they try to ask questions and see what. So these leaders, perhaps they are taking the people for a ride, and so the people power. They are now asking questions of those of their representatives, because these are supposed to be holding power and trust for the people. But in other places, like in Africa, it appears that is the reverse. That is the case. They are lording it over people and not at their servants. So they are saying, and in the case of Macron, I think his what is it called? Rating has been going down. You saw what is happening in former French colonies, anti-French sentiments and all that. But that is not to say that far right is any better with their policy of anti-immigration and all that. That is not what that would be tested.
Indeed.
So, but it's all part of the game, political game.
And the second round is due on Sunday, I believe. What Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella want is an absolute majority. But those seat projections suggest they may fall short of that. What are their chances? What chances do you think they have to get 289 out of 577 seats of the National Assembly?
You could see the center and then the left of center politics now. Their parties and the alliance holding. There has to be some realignment. I think they have noted that to make sure that they stop the far right on their tracks, that it will not carry this power, because it could be dangerous. So they are probably going to have the same hung parliament that Macron has always managed, but with higher majority here. It's going to be difficult because passing of bills, but it's also good for separation of power, and then for balance. Trying to check the excess use of power, concentration of power in a one-party state that we have in Africa is not the best. It's not the ideal. You also notice that in South Africa and India. So these are people. Parties are now taught the lesson of cohabiting with strange bedfellows of their rivals. Perhaps there is some benefit. There could be some benefit in that. That before you now take any decision, you have to consult. Absolutely. To make sure that every interest is represented. Yeah.
Well, interesting way you've put it. I think it was Macron's predecessor, François Hollande, who was quoted to have said, "We have an imperative duty to ensure that the far right cannot win a majority in the assembly." Time will tell if that would happen. But talk to us about the potential impact of having the absence of an absolute majority in that country's National Assembly.
it will look, you have coalition if no party or coalition is able to get the majority, and then but Macron is trying to create panic. He says that if violence gets that there will be civil war. I think he's exaggerating. He's exaggerating the whole thing. But it could also be dangerous because you can be lured into despondency, thinking that you are now in the so you can do whatever you like. So, but when you have all people, whether it's a national government, you call it a coalition, or I think it tends to, like you have in England, where the Labour and the Conservative, or be it in America, where the Republicans and then the Democrats. Usually there is need for this balance of power, because if you let it concentrated in one hand, there is the danger of arbitrariness, of authoritarian tendencies, and then the way that human rights will now become the victim, and that will go against the essence of governance. The essence of governance is to respect the Constitution, respect the rule of law, respect human rights, and make sure that everybody gets equal opportunity. There is no inequality is reduced, and then access to all the opportunities, social, economic amenities, and all that. But it's difficult. But that is what leadership is about. Absolutely. That is why when you have leaders, they try to navigate and create the balance to make sure that the majority government is making sure that the greater good, for the greater majority number of people.
Interesting days ahead in France as we also look out to the second round of elections on Sunday. Global Affairs analyst Paul Ejime, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.